Most men don't lose their independence overnight. They lose it one small physical limitation at a time.
So finding ways to leverage or to set up systems that allow me to work alone, or to, just to work alone and get things done without danger, for one thing, without safety issues. So right here, you'll see behind me, I've got these 2 scaffold sections, and then I have the ladder for getting up on the roof. Well, the scaffold sections allow me to take bundles of those cedar shingles, place them up closer to my work area. And then I can take the ladder, walk up to that area, grab those, throw them up on the roof, and then walk up the ladder. That's a little thing. Like normally in a roofing project, you would have an apprentice or a laborer throwing all the shingles up, carrying it up the ladder. So it's just a little very slight variation in how I'm doing things, but it's important to pay attention to them as you're working alone. And like I said, end up spending more time creating jigs. Like here's a jig, for example, where I cut that's the size 6x8 of the timbers that I was fashioning. That's the tenon size, 2 different tenon sizes, so that I know when instead of like cutting a beam or something, for example, a mortise and a tenon, and then trying to fit it into place, by using a template, I can feed that over first and make sure that it fits before I go to the next step. And again, that's extra important when you're working alone, so you don't have that extra hand just to go and work it and put it into place together and then take it down quickly. It's just way more efficient to spend more time setting up templates and systems and levers and hoists and so on. So at 56, I'm very aware that what I'm going to be capable of doing at 70 and 80 is going to depend on what I do at this age. So I'm starting to spend more time becoming more efficient, taking steps to, first of all, maintain my strength and my flexibility, especially. That's very important at this age. Flexibility, joint health by eating properly and taking proper supplements. And then, just keeping that strength up, but also learning skills and continuing to learn skills and use tools, learn how to use tools that are going to make my life easier at your age or at that age. Anyway, I'm going to get to work now, waiting for that dew to burn off that roof. So I'm going to jump up there now, tack on some more roofing paper, and start shingling and try to get one side at least fully covered in before that rain comes tomorrow. And then I can start working on the walls when the rain does come, and I'll be sheltered from above.
You're planning on doing cedar shakes or shingles like this. You're wondering how I'm laying them out. Basically, you're looking for at least 1 inch coverage from side to side. So when you have a joint like this, you want the next one to overlap that joint by at least 1 inch. So say I've got 2 inches here onto that shingle, and then it's 1 inch overhanging this one. So you keep doing that. So I keep adjusting the width, or picking the width of shakes that cover the nail ideally as well. And the nails get nailed at least 1 inch from the edge as well, because with most wood, when you nail closer than 1 inch to the edge, it ends up splitting the wood out. So spacing the fasteners 1 inch inside, and then if you have a shake or shingle that's wider than 8 inches, you should go like 1 inch in, 1 inch in, and then 1 in the center as well. Again, trying to avoid splitting the shake or shingle, as well as getting that coverage of at least 1 inch on the overlap. And then what I'm doing for overlap, for spacing up and down, is 6 inches. That's a 6-inch board that I've got there. So so you get 6 inches of exposure, basically what it comes down to. These are 16 or 18 inch shingles. What are they? Oh, that's 17 and a half. So it's supposed to be roughly 18. Well, 17 and a half. So you have 11 and a half inches of shingle hidden underneath the next one. And then this one comes down, and you end up with 3 layers for 11 inch, 6 inches, 5 inches, roughly 5 inches, 5.5 inches, I guess, where you'll have 3 layers. You have the one underneath this row, you've got this row, and then you've got this shingle here. So that's what gives you that is what gives you your waterproofing, that shedding all the way down as the water comes down, and then any water that does get through joints or fasteners, it's stopped by the roofing membrane that's underneath. Well, you'd either strap it with 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch boards, or 1 inch boards even, so that you have an airspace underneath the shingles so that they dry evenly. You don't just get baked from above, because then they'll curl and fail quicker. But this roof being an unheated space, I'm not that worried about it. So I'm just going to, you can see, just nailing directly to the roofing paper and the plywood. And that's going to be waterproof, but it won't last quite as long. Even with an unheated space underneath, still be better if I did that, but it's an added expense and work. I just didn't want to take on that added expense. Humid again. And this is not safe either, by the way. Don't walk up here without a harness on. In fact, over to the can, I'm going to grab the harness and the rope. These are pretty damp, sitting out for a year or more. Well, they're a little slippery. If I open up the bundles, it'll dry them out. I like lifting the bundles up into place, up onto the scaffold, rather than cutting them down below and letting them spread out and dry. But it would be better if I did do that. So that's less than an inch, probably 3/4 of an inch over. So I'm going to take that one out, replace it with a shorter one first. And then when I put this in, I've got a good few inches actually of overlap side to side. That's good. 2 inches there. That's right on the joint, so that one's no good. That's less than an inch, probably 3/4 of an inch, so I won't do that either. Get us either a small one, sliver of one, or a much wider one.
One other thing about the spacing, you see me putting the shingles, the shakes, tight together. That's because of the time of the year. It's quite warm, about as warm as it gets here, and it's quite humid, which means the wood has expanded as much as it's likely to. And in the winter, it's going to shrink. So right now I'm putting the shingles pretty well touching, and then they're slowly going to open up during the winter, and they'll keep moving slightly like that. If it was colder or drier, or both, especially like winter installation, I would be leaving a pretty good sized gap, like a 1/4 inch gap between each shake, so that they can expand and come together without buckling. Anyway, if you're interested in this lifestyle and you want to follow along, just subscribe to the channel, and you'll see videos here or on my other channel. Provide both links in the description below. But also, I've written a book, 52 Weeks of Self-Reliance. At any age, I think it's useful. Even if you're not into this lifestyle, I think it's a useful book because it just gives tips on how to become more independent, more responsibility for your life. So that'll link up be below as well. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you back here on the homestead next time. Take care.